Hey, what's up, friends? You got Gypsy back here today with my playoffs match in the CPC up against Aberforth and his Brisbane Brelooms. We played Aberforth a few weeks back, I believe, in the CPC and had a pretty convincing win over him. Specs Curum kind of just ran train through his team. So coming into this game, I was expecting him to be packing some checks to offensive mate Curum in the form of like a DD, Haxorus, perhaps an offensive new. I was expecting Raikou, honestly. I felt as though he didn't bring that last time, and I'm kind of deterred from bringing my ground types just due to his fat core of Alamomola and Venusaur. So I thought, Raikou was also a likely bring, but I really felt as though he did need to prep hard for Curum, as it is such a menace to his team. I've got Bounded Curum this week. Bounded Curum also runs through his team. There's not really a safe switching on his team, barring like a Fizdef Rhydon. Rhyperior if I want to lock myself into Dragon Claw or something like that. It does have Togekiss, so I do have Iron Head and Fusion Bolt for that. Fusion Bolt to hitting Alamomola. Pretty nice mon overall. Really just destroys his team once I get a bit of chip on things. Next up we have Tangrowth. Basically hit a check Rhyperior, hit a check Haxorus. Very nicely. Rocking the Rocky Helmet, same set as I brought versus him in our last game. It does its job really well. Not much to say on it. It has knockoff and EQ for Chandelure. He had the potential to bring Chandelure, which is also a massive threat to my team. Then we have Mega Scizor. Actually the same set as I brought last game. The reason being I don't really need to change it up too much. Bullet Punch U-turn. I got knockoff for Shandy and Bronzong. He also had a Bronzong on his team. And then I have U-turn for momentum grabbing and Roost, obviously just to heal up on stuff like Sneasel, Hitmontop and stuff like that. Then we have Life Orb. Carmine Keldeo really runs through his team. Got HP flying on this set, I believe. Being able to do significant damage to Venusaur. After a couple of Carmines, I actually tank Giga Drain surprisingly well and can comfortably 2-hit KO the Venusaur even after Giga Drain recovery, so a pretty nice mon to his team. Oko's Haxorus' Secret Sword at +1 with the Life Orb. Easily 2-hit KO's Mew after Carmine boosts. Obviously Oko's Rhydon without, just at neutral. Yeah, easily 1v1's the Alamomola. I can scout for Mirror Coat with Carmine. And yeah, obviously deals with the Hitmontop quite nicely too. So Keldeo, a really nice win con in this game. A really nice early breaker as well, which is actually how I'm going to use it, spoilers. Then we have my Fizdef AV Reuniclus. I did need a check to Venusaur, I needed a check to a potential Carmine Raikou. I needed something to come in and stomach a hit. It can live any hit from Rhyperior and Haxorus because it is Fizdef, and deal pretty good damage back. I've got Energy Ball for the Alamomola and the Rhyperior. I don't want to give Rhyperior any free chances to set up. And then lastly we have my mixed defensive Arcanine. A really nice set this week versus his team. I can just spam Will-O-Wisps, which is really solid. Got Intimidate for any physical attacker that I want to pivot in and lower its physical attack. Obviously Morning Sun for recovery, Crunch for Mew and Chandelure, and Flare Blitz being able to hit Venusaur relatively hard. So now looking at his team, I really see that Keldeo has a lot of fun versus his team. I feel as though he's likely going to lead with something to check Curum, as Curum was my lead last game. I feel as though Haxorus may be a potential lead, and I know Keldeo with the investment I have can live any hit, even an Outrage, and can get a huge hit off weakening that, 2-hit KOing that, and yeah, just putting immediate pressure on his team. So I'm going to lead off with Keldeo, as Aberforth leads off with Alamomola. This is great, I can just calm my turn 1. As he goes, he actually goes for the Scald, interesting play. If I'd sub there, this would have been an even greater position for me. At this point I don't know if he's Spidef, obviously haven't hit him yet, so I can't judge that. I'm going to go for another Carmine just in case he wants the Mirror Coat. But he actually makes a switch out to Venusaur. Had I HP flying there, then this thing would have dropped to 2. I don't think it would have died to 1, but it would have been significantly, it would have taken a hit far better than Mega Venusaur. Nonetheless, I'm at +2, so I can just fire off the Life Orb HP flying. Doing a big amount to Mega Venusaur. You guys can see the Giga Drain isn't going to do too much. Still does 38, a decent amount because Mega Venusaur is so fat, but I tanked that pretty nicely. So I'm going to fire off the HP flying, revealing this is definitely not specially defensive. This is definitely physically defensive. The reason I could have Calm-Minded up here, which would have made a lot of sense. However, if he is a Healing Wish variant, he can Healing Wish into Venusaur on my Calm-Mind and actually beat me at that range of health. 2 Giga Drains will kill me, and he will get enough health back from the Giga Drain to where Keldeo can't 2 KO him. So my play here is to Scald, just in case he wants the Healing Wish. I know he's not Assault Vest, I know he's got the lefties, so Healing Wish is definitely a viable option. It wasn't worth risking that right there, and he's just going to go right out into Mew here. So I go for the Scald. Does 86%, don't get the burn, never lucky, as this Mew's going to hit Rock Polish. So my play here 100% is to stay in an attack, whilst Keldeo is really valuable to the rest of his team. If this Mew does take me out here, I have my Scizor in the back who can just revenge it with Bullet Punch, even clicking U-turn depending on his set, you know, if I don't expect him to have Flamethrower. So I'm just going to fire off a Scald to see Baton passes out into his Hitmontop. So interesting, you know, when he went into his Hitmontop, I was kind of, you know, I was quite curious at first. Again, I don't get the burn, never lucky with Scald, and Hitmontop's going to come in and he's going to reveal lefties. So he took that very well. He's clearly a Spidef variant, tanking that +2 Scald. The fact that he passed speed into it made me immediately assume he was a setup variant. Now, setup Hitmontop, quite an interesting set. Going to be really interested to see what his coverage is, considering I have a Golurk on my team, so not really sure what's going to happen here. But I am going to preserve Keldeo. I know he's going to attack. He can't risk me. You know, he could potentially rest up, but then he'd rest up and then still be around 20-ish%. And then be easily revenged by something. So I know his play here is to attack. So I'm just going to switch out here, go into my Scizor, as he fires off the Brick Break. So this is so his Brick Break, lefties, Spidef. So that's all that I know about his set at this point in the match. Mega Scizor's Bullet Punch with the spread that I ran, even with like very little attack investment, guaranteed kills Hitmontop at 36%, because he's a Spidef variant. It's in his best interest to keep this around potentially. To set up on my Tangrowth, to set up on my basically to set up on my Tangrowth if he is a setup variant, as Bullet Punch guarantees the kill here. If he wastes his Hitmontop here to a Bullet Punch, then he's just wasted his Mew and his Hitmontop. So I really do feel like his best play is to switch out. So I'm going to go for the U-turn here, Mega Evolving up, as he just sets up a Bulk Up. So Hitmontop would have dropped there to a Bullet Punch. Can't say I agree with that play at all, but you know, he makes the play and goes for the Bulk Up there on my U-turn. So even if Bullet Punch hadn't killed at that range, like say for some reason he lived on 1%, the following Bullet Punch would have killed. So not really sure the thought process there. I'm just going to go for the U-turn and go right onto my Arcanine, lowering this thing's attack. The fact he's revealed Bulk Up, he's Bulk Up lefties, Brick Break. Now he's going to reveal the rest. So what this means is this is a mono attacking Brick Break, Rest Talk, Bulk Up, Hitmontop. Now, keep in mind, I have Reuniclus on my team, I have Tangrowth, I have Brick Break is pretty bad coverage on my team, not to mention I have a Golbat who 4 times resists it, and I have a Golurk who is immune to Brick Break. So, yeah, really questionable building on Abe's part, but I guess it works in this situation, but that's okay. I'm completely fine with this because I have 2 fat defensive regenerator mons, plus I have Intimidate and Arcanine. I can comfortably pivot around. I'm happy with this match taking 2 hours if need be. I will stall this thing out of its moves, continuously lowering its attack with Arcanine's Intimidate, chipping it down with Regenerator. I'll eventually knock off its lefties with Tangrowth, chipping it down with its Rocky Helmet, forcing it to continuously spam Bulk Up as I pivot between Arcanine's Intimidate and my defensive mons. I'm completely fine with this. I can effectively take this on with my 3 defensive mons on my team. As he's going to go for the Rest Talk here, reveal Bulk Up, reveal the Sleep Talk on that turn. As I'm just going to fire for Flare Blitz. I can obviously still crit him at this point, which would take him out because he's a Spidef variant. But he's just going to continue getting the Bulk Up on the Sleep turn, so pretty nice for him. As Arcanine's doing, you know, it's doing a little bit of damage, forcing him to continue resting, which is pretty nice. As there you go, you see the rest. I could obviously have been Psychic on this Reuniclus set, which would have dealt significantly more damage than Psyshock at this point. However, he has a Raikou on his team, which had the potential to be a Carmine set. I know Aberforth does favour Carmine Raikou, so Psyshock was kind of needed to check that in a pinch if I needed to. Last, he's going to go for the rest and continue to spam Sleep Talk. And it's at this point that I realized in the match, that's fine. I really can just continue to pivot between my defensive calls. I know Brick Break, even at +3, is going to be doing sweet fuck all to Reuniclus. As you see, I only did 25%. So Even if he boosts up a bit more, I'm not worried because I can continuously pivot between Arcanine and Reuniclus. He's going to go for the bulk up. I can also get the crit, and because he is a Spit F variant, naturally the crit would ignore his defense modifiers, meaning that a Psyshock could definitely take him out at this range. He's really playing with fire here, so he's going to go for the Brick Break there. A +5 Brick Break does 36% to this Reuniclus, so I know he's going to rest up here. He has to. I'm going to get my health back with Regenerated from Reuniclus and just go out to my Arcanine. As I said, this is a really safe strategy for me to make, because even if he wants to, he can continue this all day. You guys saw a +5 Brick Break did 36% to Reuniclus, and I have Rocky Helmet Tangrowth to continue pivoting out into. So this is not even a concern at all. I can just keep pivoting back and forth. He gets a rest here with the Sleep Talk. As he gets rest again, I'm just going to start Giga Draining, start chipping him down. I should have gone for the knockoff there, in all seriousness, but at this point I was just trying to get a bit of damage off with the Giga Drain. As I do take this turn to knock off his lefties, he gets back up to +5. Brick Break crits, does 72%. Without the crit, it would have done around 50-ish%. That crit is annoying, as it means Tangrowth is going to come in later on at a lower amount of health, but it's not the end of the world, as I said, because I can just continue pivoting around, getting the health back. I've got Giga Drain 2 there if I want to get some health back. So my play now is to switch out to Arcanine, just to lower his attack a bit, bring him down to +3, and then again pivot back to one of my defensive mons. As I go for the Giga Drain at the end of that turn, obviously underspeeding the Hitmontop. Go into Arcanine, lower his attack. Arcanine can comfortably be hit, but of course I get crit. So this is absolutely fucking huge. My win con essentially my defensive win con in this situation, one of the key cogs in my defensive win con, Arcanine just drops to a crit there, which is, I just laughed at this point. It was just a complete joke because my defensive core easily beat this Hitmontop, but he got the nice double crit, so what can you do? I'm just going to go into Tangrowth now, and I'm eventually going to beat this Hitmontop 1v1. I'm going to skip some turns because it takes a long time. Unfortunately, I have to sack Scizor and Keldeo in the process of taking on this Hitmontop, which just really highlights how much of a joke this that double crit was. Had I not got that crit, I would have continuously been able to pivot between my defensive cores, wearing him down with Tangrowth and Reuniclus, whilst pivoting into Arcanine, forcing him to rest up eventually, have removed his lefties so he doesn't have that passive recovery. He's taking shit from Rocky Helmet, Giga Drains, Psyshocks. He does need to rest up, and when he rests up, I can just pivot to Arcanine, lower his attack. The cycle continues. It's a pretty straightforward way to winning. It was going to take a long time, but that's what I was comfortable with doing. However, he gets the lucky crit. So I'm just going to skip some turns here. Pivoting back and forth between getting the regen health back. I can always get the Psyshock crits, but the Hex Gods aren't going to favor me whatsoever. I'm going to just continuously spam Shadow Ball, trying to get a Spit F drop. But of course, I'm going to have to wait a long time for that to happen. So I'm just going to keep pivoting back and forth as he continues to rest up. Obviously, having Arcanine around here would have made this significantly easier, as I would have been able to continuously lower his attack, meaning that my defensive walls tanked hits far better. But alas, we're just going to keep switching between. This goes on for a long time. I'm doing what I have to do to eliminate this Hitmontop at this point. I'm getting decent chip on him with the Giga Drains and such. You see at this point I've been forced to sack Scizor and Reuniclus just to get Regenerator health back. So this means that I'll talk about this later on. You're going to see what sort of effect this had on the rest of the match. As we eventually do get the kill with Tangrowth. But this means now that my defensive core is weakened significantly. My offensive checks to the rest of his team, apart from Kyurem, have been taken out of the equation, have been sacked to Hitmontop as a result of my Arcanine getting crit and killed. As now in comes Haxorus, and he just goes for the Dragon Dance. Now I fire off the HP Ice. I know that Tangrowth can live a hit if I can get a bit more regen back. So I just go out to Reuniclus right here. As he goes for the sword stance on my switch out. It's a very nice play. He's going to go for the Dragon Claw here. And I'm going to go into my Tangrowth here. And I'm going to click HP Ice as he goes for the SD there. Now at this point I know that the game's over. Had I not had to sack Scizor, he was in guaranteed range to die to a Bullet Punch. I would have been happy with keeping my Tangrowth in on the first place and just firing off 2 HP Ices and taking him out, because even if he did attack me, then he wasn't going to be able to take down Scizor. I could have Bullet Punched him there for the kill. But yeah, at this point I'm just going to forfeit, because there's absolutely nothing I can do at this point. Very unfortunate. I was feeling extremely confident I would have won had I not got crit with Arcanine 100%, because my defensive core, as you saw, did take out the Hitmontop eventually. Had I had Arcanine around to drop its attack with Intimidate, that would have made the process far easier, and as a result I wouldn't have had to sack my Scizor and Keldeo, which as you can see, Scizor beats this. Keldeo beats Keldeo, to be honest Kyurem beats the rest of his team, but Keldeo would have been quite nice for Rhyperior in the back. But you know, Pokemon is a joke at the best of times. It's not Abe's fault at all. Aberforth is a really good guy, and he has had his fair share of bad hacks against him. Hacks is something that happens to everyone. Like, I wasn't too salty in the game. I was just sort of laughing because, you know, Mons is a joke. But it's a pretty unfortunate way to go out in the season. Obviously, I felt very comfortable in my ability to win this match and continue winning to the finals. But you know, look, it happens. It happens to everyone. I froze his Hitmontop in the first game that we played, which it meant he could have got Mach Punch damage on my Kyurem, I guess. You know, everyone gets hacked, but when it's hacked in a crucial playoff game like this, and when it affects the outcome of the game to the extent that it did, it is unfortunate. But you know, you can't take this game too seriously. Like, it's not worth it when like a luck factor like RNG can be that influential in a game. You just have to kind of see it for what it is, and you know, it happens. It happens to everyone. So I had a lot of fun this season, and yeah, you know, a lot of fun using this team. It's not a good team by any means, but it was a lot of fun to use a nice fat regen core with monsters like Kyurem and Scizor. Got a lot of fun with Kyurem and hadn't had a chance to draft that up until this point, so it was good fun. Good fun to use Keldeo. I definitely put in work for the few weeks that I did have it, and yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed my CPC journey. I'm sorry we had to go out like that to some garbage hacks, but you know, it happens, and you know, hopefully that will be the last of the hacks that I've faced. I feel like after the MPL finished, I've just been getting lucked in I think 4 out of the 5 games that I've played, but you know, everyone gets strokes of bad luck, and there's not really much you can do about it. But nonetheless, hope you guys enjoyed this season of the CPC. I don't know if I'll be back in the CPC next season because, you know, MPL, other leagues, but we shall see. I don't really know what the future of this league is going to be like, but nonetheless, you know, we've got other draft situations happening. We've got the CFA, which is all going well. We're top of the league currently, and you know, we're approaching the end of the season, so that is looking to be pretty exciting. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for watching. Once again, don't take this game we play all too seriously, because it is just for fun at the end of the day, and you know, luck is a big part of it. So with that, I'll be signing out. See you guys next time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.